Doctors gave him 6 months to live. He changed his environment and lived almost 40 more years. Now imagine an entire village where that kind of longevity isn't shocking, it's expected. They drink daily. They eat carbs. They don't go to the gym. And yet they produce some of the oldest people on Earth. This is the island where people refuse to die. 1. The longevity mystery. In 1976, Stamatis Meraiti was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. Doctors in the United States told him to get his affairs in order. 6 months. So he did something radical. He moved back to his tiny hometown on the island of Ikaria, not to fight the disease, but to die peacefully. But once he got there, something changed. He started gardening again, drinking homemade wine, eating food grown by neighbors, sitting outside, talking for hours. Months passed, then years. Stamatis didn't die in 6 months. He lived nearly 4 more decades, passing away peacefully in 2013 at age 98. So what happened? Was it luck? A misdiagnosis? Or is there something powerful about certain places in the world? That question led researchers to identify what we now call blue zones, rare regions where living to 90 or 100 is common. And today, we're going to one of the most extraordinary of them all. 2. The blue zones. Scientists have identified 5 places with unusually high longevity: Ikaria, Okinawa, Nicoya Peninsula, Loma Linda, and the mountainous regions of Sardinia. But Sardinia is special. It was the first place researchers discovered clusters of male centenarians living at record-breaking rates. And deep in its rugged mountains sits a tiny village called Seulo. Population? About 800 people. In some recent years, multiple residents have celebrated their 100th birthdays in a town smaller than most apartment complexes. That's not normal. So we explored it for ourselves. 3. Arrival in Seulo, immediate culture shock. Getting to Seulo feels like driving off the grid. Narrow mountain roads, steep cliffs, endless quiet. When you arrive, you notice something immediately: there are elderly people everywhere. Not hidden, not fragile. Walking uphill, carrying groceries, sitting outside talking loudly with friends. Many don't speak English. Some speak Sardinian dialect before Italian. But even without language, one thing is obvious: this place feels deeply connected. 4. Food, wine, and daily habits. Let's talk about what they eat. Because if you're expecting green smoothies and protein powders, this isn't that. Meals here are simple: homemade pasta, vegetables grown steps from the kitchen, sheep and goat meat raised locally, fresh bread, olive oil, cheese, seasonal, local, nothing rushed. And yes, they drink wine. Daily. The local Okinawa wine is rich, bold, and full of antioxidants. It's part of lunch, part of dinner, part of conversation. No one's counting calories. No one's panicking over carbs. They also drink 2 to 3 espressos a day. So clearly, the secret isn't restriction. 5. Radical hospitality and community. But here's where it gets powerful. People leave their keys in their doors. Homes are open. Within hours, you're invited inside. Fed immediately. Introduced to siblings, cousins, grandparents. In Seulo, around 60 residents are between 90 and 100 years old. In a town of 800. You can't disappear here. Everyone knows your name. And more importantly, everyone expects you to show up. There is no loneliness epidemic here. 6. Meeting the centenarians. When you meet the centenarians, you expect weakness. Instead, you see strength. One woman, nearly 100, still moves independently. Sharp memory. Quick wit. Another resident worked in his garden well into his 90s. Independence is normal. Many families here have multiple generations reaching 100. But what stands out isn't just their age. It's their purpose. They haven't retired from life. They still contribute. Still advise. Still belong. 7. A village celebration. By coincidence, there's a festival happening in town. Music fills the square. Traditional Sardinian instruments echo through stone streets. Young and old dance together in circles. Wine flows. Long tables stretch across the plaza. You're pulled into the dance. At first, you feel like an outsider. Then something shifts. You're laughing. You're moving. You're part of it. And you realize, this isn't a performance. This is just Tuesday. 8. What modern life is missing? Conversations here are full of humor. There are playful arguments about pizza. Jokes shouted across balconies. Teasing between generations. And it makes you think about modern city life. In cities, we have convenience. Here, they have connection. In cities, we live stacked above each other, but barely know our neighbors. In Seulo, your identity is woven into the community. You matter because you're known. 9. The real secret. So what's their longevity secret? It's not revolutionary. They've just affected the fundamentals: fresh, local, seasonal food, daily natural movement, clean air, strong family ties, tight-knit community, low chronic stress, daily joy. They slow down. They savor meals. They laugh loudly. They show up for each other. Nothing extreme. Just consistency. 10. The bigger message. We often treat longevity like a biology problem. But here, it looks like an emotional one. Belonging? Purpose? Connection? In Seulo, and across the mountains of Sardinia, people don't just live long. They live well. Maybe the real lesson isn't about adding years to your life. Maybe it's about adding life to your years. Because if this island teaches us anything, it's this: the happier you are, the more connected you are, the longer you just might live. Please subscribe to the channel if you found this helpful.